Do you think that stuff like men's health is more targeted towards white men, and the advice that they give is more targeted?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It is definitely targeted at not just white people, it's middle class white people.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today's video is a little bit different to the typical kind of video I do when we talk about skin or periods or, you know, a recipe in the kitchen. A couple weeks ago I got to go to Guru Nanak Gurdwara in Smethwick, which is here in the UK, and I went for a Freshers Fair event. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically a university event for students to kind of go and mingle with each other and see what's going on in the local area. Now at this event there was a stall by a company called Naujawani, and the owner of Naujawani is my teacher and a really amazing man called Harwinder and basically Naujawani's goal is to just share Punjabi news for people in the diaspora to kind of understand what's going on the ground in Punjab. So if you don't know about Naujawani, definitely get familiar with it. I'll leave his link in the description box down below. So during the event I got a few minutes to sit down with Harvey and speak about health and food and all that kind of stuff, and kind of get his perspective as a Punjabi Sikh man living in the UK, and also like a Sikh perspective using Gurbani analysis, which was really interesting. So I just wanted to share what he said about health and food and all that stuff, because I think it would be really interesting for you guys to hear. So here is the interview.
My name is Harwinder. I'm the founder of Naujawani, online media platform for Sikh and Punjabi affairs and news that Sikh and Punjabi people should know about.
Probably the most intense person that's ever been on my channel. Harvey is one of my teachers. He's an absolutely brilliant man. So I just wanted to ask you a few questions about health and diet and stuff, because we have very different views about it. So I think it would be interesting to get your view. Have you ever been on a diet?
Yes.
Elaborate on that.
I've been on, so I've not gone on like down a commercial road of diets. I don't actually know much about them other than what you read in the press or you see when suddenly Atkins diet is blowing up or something and people are complaining about it. I don't know about diets like that. So the kind of diets I've tried out has been, first when I was in my early 20s, I tried to bulk up a lot. Obviously didn't work. And I tried doing like protein shakes and tried eating 6 meals a day. That was fun, but it didn't really work.
Did you find that difficult? Because I know some Munde say that it's really difficult to like force yourself to eat, or did you not have that? It was fine?
No, that wasn't a problem for me at all. And I just have a metabolism that seems to work off energy. I use up a lot of energy all the time. So I'm basically working off whatever I've eaten or drank. And I wasn't that into it where I was counting calories or checking stuff, but I was just following a Men's Health magazine dietary plan for 14 days.
Okay, so was that like a high protein?
Yes.
Okay, so what was your main protein source?
Main protein source at that time was tofu stuff. There was a lot of veggie mince stuff. Yeah, it was kind of like that, but there was a few things that I was buying from certain websites, which back in the early 2000s weren't easy either. But it was kind of stuff that was, I'd want to say made in like a laboratory. So there was things like that. Then there was just some straight up protein, soya chunks, that kind of stuff. You know the kind of stuff your mum tells you at home, eat this, it's protein. And so I was eating things like that. That was the main thing. I was total vegetarian, and so I wasn't eating like, you know, chicken, all those kind of regular things. But most of the Men's Health magazine things were pointing at other things for the 6 meals anyway. So I was avoiding when they were saying, oh, do turkey burgers and do steak and do chicken. I was picking all the bits where they were doing things like avocado, doing certain kind of salad runs and loads and loads of peanut butter and that kind of food.
Okay, so you never really counted calories or counted macros or anything like that?
No, the idea behind bulking up was that everything revolved around your workout. And so it was about fitting 6 meals into your day to fit around when you're doing the workout. I wasn't counting the calories, but I was looking at the foods. And it was the first time in my life I started realizing I hadn't really ever looked at food I was eating, and pretty much from around then, so this is maybe circa 2003, 2004, I pretty much stopped eating processed food because I realized how bad it was for me. And up until then, I thought making food was you take it out the freezer and put it under the grill. That was making food. And then eating roti, obviously. So it completely stopped me eating processed food. So it had some benefit to it, as far as I'm concerned.
Sure. And when you were reading like the Men's Health magazine, did you find that there was a particular target audience? Like, why do you think it didn't work for your body?
It didn't work probably because I didn't follow it properly. I didn't follow it to the T the way I was supposed to. I think definitely the kind of foods I was eating did have an impact. If I had been eating the steak the way they said, the turkey burgers the way they said, the number of egg whites you were supposed to eat, then it would have had a bit more of an impact. But in all honesty, I think it was trying to sell me something that I wasn't bought into. I didn't buy into it. I was just thinking, let's see if I can bulk up. I just started a new job, so I kind of didn't really have much else to do, and I was trying to look for something to do. But definitely the article and the way it was kind of marketed and branded is all aimed at guys, particularly young guys, who want to look a certain way because they think it will get them women. And I can't pretend. I was single at the time, and I was meeting girls all the time with a view to get married. So that was in the back of my head as well. If I look a little bit better, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So that was another thing. Plus, I've always just been like skinny as hell. I had like a six-pack throughout my teen years because I was so skinny though.
Do you think that stuff like Men's Health is more targeted towards white men, and the advice that they give is more targeted?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. The whole thing's, all the stuff you hear about females, it's just as bad for males. Except, you know, because we're men and we kind of rule the world, it's not that big a deal for us, and it doesn't make us, you know, well, it doesn't make all of us kind of, you know, eat ourselves up inside about it. But it is definitely targeted at not just white people, it's middle-class white people. Because my best friend who's white is really hardcore working class. And he's tried once in his life when we were teenagers, so I was trying to help him do it. And he's like, I just can't afford this food. He couldn't afford the food. That's no lie. I know sometimes people think that's got to be a lie. Some people can't afford to eat steak.
And like peanut butter.
Even peanut butter, some people can't afford to buy a huge jar of it and get through it in the week. I'll get through it in a week. I get through peanut butter in a week.
Yeah, because with bulking, you eat high volume. So it's not just about the foods. It's like if you're going to get peanut butter, okay, it might be £2, but you're going to go through that in 3 days.
Right.
So it's not just £2 in a week. It adds up.
It adds up.
Yeah, for sure. And that's something that I'm trying to take my channel in that direction, even with my clients. It's not about spending loads of money, it's about figuring out what is around you and where can you shop. Even if it's going to Aldi and just getting your produce from there, just getting more greens and stuff into your diet. That was really, really interesting.
So that's a lot more where I'm at now, which is maybe why I like watching a lot of your videos, because when we eat, when we at home in particular, we try to eat as much natural food as we can.
And what is your definition of natural?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to come on to. So just eating as much roti as you can, plain. And
roti, sabji, dal.
Yeah, sabji, dal, roti. Really stay clear of chawal. I know this is going to sound a bit of a shock as well. Stay clear of paneer quite a lot. I eat paneer a lot when I'm out, but at home we don't. You stick to mothandi dal. You go for kidney beans. Bring loads and loads of like the kidney bean dal. And then eating porji, karele, bataung. That's the sabjiyan to eat. That's the dal to go for. And so I've now.
How did you get to that point though?
Well, my mum had been saying it since we were kids. So
like
finally, finally kind of got to a certain age where in my mid-30s, well, when my daughter was born, so I've started going on a bit of an exercise trip since then. And although it doesn't look it, I have actually bulked up. My muscle tone has increased by like, it's doubled. I don't show it, but it has. And my fat, the fat index, I forgot what it is. Yes, that one. That's gone down drastically. And it's all because I've kind of changed up now to a diet where I only eat twice a day.
So kind of like intermittent fasting a little bit, or just letting your body relax, just eating when you need to rather than engorging in what you want to?
See, it's difficult to say this because I know that technically it kind of counts as intermittent fasting, right? But it's actually a Sikh philosophy of how to eat, which is, it's not easy if I do this in Punjabi. Can you translate it afterwards, yeah? Do daan khani hai roti. So, ek wari swer nu uth ke khana hai. Then you eat once before sunset, and that's it. And when you eat, just eat do rotiyan. Never have more than 2 rotiyan. Don't chop your roti.
Don't chopri or roti.
You have, if you're going to have mitta, you have it before the roti, and then you have pani. Now, when I was doing my Sanghera on Guru Granth Sahib, like when I was 19, I was taught that by my ustad. Mitta, you always eat mitta first. You don't eat it afterwards. So I'd naturally been doing that for a long time, but moving to 2 rotiya instead of 3 or 4, you know, like especially like even in my house, my mum will make 6 and expect me to eat them. It's been hard telling her, no, I'm only eating the 2. You're going to have to throw the 4 to the birds now. It's your fault. I told you only 2.
And it's good that you stick to that as well.
Right. And so getting my wife to understand that and appreciate it, getting my mum to understand that, getting everyone in that house to realise this is the way I'm eating, it's weird because it's now trickled over to them. So both of my folks who are now retired kind of eat, they'll still eat 3 times a day, but what they eat at lunch is minuscule now compared to what it used to be. And they actually for a long time been doing this. When they were working, they had shift work, it was difficult, but eat before sunset. That way you give yourself 2-3 hours before you go to sleep. So in olden times, Puratana Samaya, that's what Sikhs used to do. You eat twice a day, and you only need to eat well those twice bits a day. It's that Sikh mantra. So this is why I'm saying it's not completely fasting. Kat khao, kat pio, kat bolo. Eat, drink less, consume less, speak less. So I'm at least one of those down anyway. But that's the thinking behind it. And I've got to tell you, it freaking works. Your mind clears up so hard when you're not eating that much. And is quite phenomenal.
I think that was so flipping cool.
Right?
I told you he was the coolest guy ever.
Hipster veggie. Yo.
Naujawani, subscribe to his YouTube channel, it's really good. He does a series called Cover to Cover where he reads books and he kind of just breaks it down, and the first book of every month is Punjabi, no?
Yeah, that's right.
Really cool. So if you're trying to understand Punjabi like most of us are in the diaspora, definitely follow Naujawani. He's got so many resources, and the Sikh Studies course, which I've actually forwarded a lot of people over to. So hopefully the one in a couple of weeks that's happening, there's going to be a lot of people. I'll leave all of his details in the description box down below. Thank you, Harvey.
Thank you.
That was